All right, so this is the thing people are talking about today. Steelers-Browns last night. Another horrible Thursday night football game. Not really the point, but it was a horrible game. Browns win it 21-7. Just an ugly, bad game, which is the only way that the Browns can ever win a game because they have been for decades an ugly, bad football team and an ugly, bad football organization. Just an embarrassment to the league. Matched only by the other Ohio team. No offense to the people in Ohio, but your football teams are terrible. If you live in Ohio, you own two of the worst and most dysfunctional and incompetent professional sports teams in American history, and they're both in your state. That would be the Bengals. And then also the Jets would vie for the title of most incompetent. So out there in New Jersey. That's not really the point, though. The point is this. And this is what happened at the end of the game. I'm going to show you the whole clip if you haven't seen it yet. Watch this.
Well, he tackled Rudolph. Rudolph didn't like the way that he was tackled.
Oh, gosh.
Man.
Oh, man. Oh. Rips the helmet off Rudolph's head and then eventually swings it and hits him in the head. And then Ogunjobi comes up and hits Rudolph from behind.
Beyond words, Joe.
Oh, my gosh. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen on a professional sports field.
You know, Joe, I've been involved with these in the...
So that's Myles Garrett with the Browns there. Mason Rudolph is the Steelers quarterback, and that's Myles Garrett ripping off Rudolph's helmet and smacking him in the head with it. He ripped off his helmet and smacked him in the head with it. That's amazing. Even more amazing are the Browns fans who have been trying to justify this, and I've seen a lot of them, defending Garrett, saying that Rudolph started it, which even if he did start it, and by the way, again, if you're a Browns fan, your organization is an embarrassment to the league. It's one of the worst professional sports organizations in the history of this country. Maybe don't add insult to injury by embarrassing yourselves by trying to justify this. And I mean, and I'm a football fan myself too, and I love the Ravens. Okay, I'm a big Ravens homer. But at a certain point, I mean, they are just a football team, and the only reason you root for them is because you happen to live there. And I admit that for myself as well, so it's sort of arbitrary. You don't have to sacrifice your dignity to defend criminal assault just because the guy who did it wears the jersey that you like, right? You don't have to do that. You really don't. And it doesn't even matter, but because it doesn't come close to justifying it. No matter who instigated it, it doesn't come close to justifying what Garrett did. But just for the record, Garrett also instigated this. You saw the whole play there. That Rudolph had thrown the ball, and Garrett continued dragging him to the ground a couple of seconds after the ball left his hands. That is already roughing the passer, especially these days. But really, at any point, that would be roughing the passer. That's pretty egregious. After the quarterback throws the ball, you're supposed to stop trying to tackle him. Garrett kept dragging him to the ground. That's what made Rudolph upset. He starts tugging at his helmet. Rudolph tugs at Garrett's helmet. And then that's where Garrett just goes ballistic, loses his mind, rips Rudolph's helmet off, and smacks him with it. Now, Rudolph got lucky here because it was the bottom of his helmet that made contact with his head. But what if the crown of his helmet had hit Rudolph, say, in his temple? That's brain damage at a minimum. I mean, that could actually kill you. Garrett could have ended a life last night, and also probably the NFL along with it. You're talking about a 6'4", 270-pound, muscle-bound NFL defensive end swinging a hard object directly at your unprotected head. There is definitely a very plausible scenario where Rudolph is not up and walking around today. He got lucky. So what should happen to Garrett? I mean, obviously, at a minimum, he's done for the year. I think the NFL should go beyond that and suspend him until 2022. Or, suspend him for this year and next year. You can come back the season after that. Hey, you. You right there. Hit the subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It's somewhat appreciated.